I'm not sure I will be in the APC in 2027. So I cannot answer that question. As a private citizen, afford to be reckless and say, you know what? We gave the Southerners their chance. They gave us Tinubu. Has he done well? If he hasn't done well by 2027, let's vote him out. Okay? I would prefer that a Southerner succeeds Tinubu. But at the end of the day, in the party that I would be, whether it is APC or any other party, the calculation has to be who will win. And as I told you earlier, in Kaduna, when we looked at all the southern aspirants, our caucus said, look, Tinubu has the best chance of winning. Our party must win. Whatever the baggage he comes with, let's manage it after we win.
Now, Rufai is talking, just like we analyzed in the other video, the importance of fielding a southern candidate in the coalition. It will kill any sort of voter apathy. It will ensure that Southerners troop out in massive numbers, just like they did in 2023. It shows that Rufai understands the importance of this. Never mind the fact that he said politicians always calculate the person that has the capability to win. The person that has the highest chance to win, that's the person they support. You see, this is not in any way trying to whitewash Rufai, but you can't argue that he's not a smart person. So if he has fallen out with Tinubu and APC, why shouldn't the opposition open their arms and embrace him? Yes, when you're climbing the political ladder, when you're contesting an election, when many people have the same objective, you need everyone by your side. Even if that person is a criminal, you need to make friends with even your enemies so that they can help you to climb that political ladder. This is the reality of our time. So people shouldn't be bringing sentiments into it. All that are not relevant at the moment. The fact that you know his character is enough weapon for you so that you know how to treat him, you know how to handle him. If you don't know anyone's character, you'll be taking a risk because you might not know exactly how to handle the person when issues arise. In other words, knowing someone's character, how he behaves, how predictable he can be is an advantage before you make any deal with that person. This is how it's supposed to work. Nigerians must understand that the task ahead is a huge one. It's not easy to defeat an incumbent. So everyone should drop whatever they have, whatever grudge, prejudice. They need to move on and unite with a free mind, hoping that they can achieve their objective. This should be the utmost priority. Like the saying goes, you need to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. APC's loss, that's if they eventually fail to reconcile with Rufai, their loss should be the gain of the opposition. That was exactly what APC did in their formation years. They poached all sorts of politicians. They didn't care whether the person had a good character or not. All they wanted was people to join them so that they can have the huge numbers in order to face the incumbent Goodluck Jonathan at the time. And they achieved their objective. They not only invited people in the party at the time, in PDP, many people joined them and they were able to do what? Unite strongly to face them in the election. In that interview, Rufai also accused Nuhu Ribadu, the NSA, of being behind his ordeal in Kaduna State, the corruption allegations by the Kaduna State House of Assembly, including the governor of the state, Obasani. Of course, Nuhu Ribadu quickly released a statement denying it. In fact, he said he doesn't want to comment on it, that he's focused on his job. Before we see the likely southern candidates they would back, there's this rumor on social media that there are some PDP governors who want to confront Atiku Abubakar, that they want to tell him to shelve his ambition not to run in 2027. Yes, this is not yet confirmed, but this is the right thing to do. Whether it's a rumor or they are still at the planning stages, the PDP governors should summon the courage and confront Atiku Abubakar. Tell him to his face because he's already campaigning. They should advise him to drop his ambition and back a southern candidate. There will be no excuse this time around because all the excuses they are giving, they are saying, it wasn't his fault last time around that the PDP refused to zone it to the south. Many excuses they are giving up to today that it wasn't Atiku Abubakar's fault that the PDP backed him in 2023 presidential election. This time around, let it not be his fault. Also, he should shelve his ambition and back a southern candidate. That's the only way Southerners will troop out in massive numbers to support that candidate. because everyone believes it is the turn of the South. That sense of justice to do the right thing will make people to come out. But if Atiku Abubakar insists that he will run, that means there's no other way he can deny it that he is working for Tinubu. Yes, because if he's on the ballot, it will be very difficult for that Southern candidate to score substantial votes in the North. But if he's not on the ballot, imagine Atiku Abubakar, politicians like Rufai and other heavyweight politicians in the North standing in the podium telling the crowd to vote for this person, vote for that person, that this is the person that will do the job. Imagine that. So that candidate will sweep the entire votes. It will take enormous rigging. No, they can't even rig it because everyone will stand their ground unless Nigerians have not learned their lesson. Yes, anyone that participated in the 2023 presidential election, whether you were a candidate or you voted, by now you should understand the strategy in 2027. The strategy remains to vote and stand your ground, protect your votes, follow the votes to the collation center as far as you can go, and make sure that your votes count. You have to do it by yourself. Don't vote and go home and later you start blaming the candidate, a victim of rigging. You turn against the victim, start blaming the victim that he's not strong enough, he can't defend his vote, he can't do this, he can't do that. That is very lame. Rather blame the system. You already know that the system is against opposition. So what do you expect a candidate to do? A candidate doesn't command the police, it doesn't command the army, doesn't command the SSS. All the security agencies are not under his command. So how is he going to do the job? That heavy burden you want to put on his head, how is he going to carry it? So you already know that you're working against the system. So you devise ways to beat them. That's the only way. Now to the possible Southern candidate the coalition will back. There's no doubt that El Rufai and Rotimi Amechi are allies. And going by what he said here at Pandef, when they met at Pandef headquarters.
To be at the forefront in this tradition. And I remember in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the traditional political partners of the North and South. Let us not forget that. Let us go back to that. Let us save this country. Because it really requires saving. We need a rescue operation. So on behalf of Vice President Atiku Abubakar and his delegation,
he's seeking a political alliance with them. But he also said something in the Arise TV interview that politicians always look for the person that is most likely to win election. That is their most important reasoning before deciding to back a politician. All politicians see politics as sport. They want to win, they don't want to lose. Whether the person is the best candidate or not, they just calculate based on the person that has the highest chance of winning. Yes, it's a flawed system, but that's politicians for you. This is why everyone must participate in politics. You must take politics more seriously. If you don't, incompetent people will continue leading you. They continue managing your affairs. You already know how policies of politicians affect your life. Now, despite all this, it will be foolhardy not to give the candidacy to Peter Obi because of the wonders he performed in 2023 presidential election that no other politician in Nigeria's history has ever done. Yes, he's not even sure that anyone can repeat what he did in the next 50 years. That's how popular he is. So they will be making a huge mistake not to back the man because he has a very high chance of winning. He's not only competent, he also won the last time around. Yes, he said it himself, that he scored around 10 million votes.
So now is the time for a strong socio-political structure across the country, across the 30 states, one that includes not just hardcore obedience, but also over 6 to 10 million. Because I know while they said we got 6 million votes, I know we'll go up to 10 million.
So if it is truly about saving Nigeria, like El Rufai and other northern politicians keep saying, like he said in the Arise TV interview, that APC left him. So he's leaving the door open for a possible reuniting with his APC colleagues. That's if they return back to their founding principles. Yes, But it remains to be seen if that can be done, because the people in charge in APC and the government, they are egomaniacs. They can't listen to one man who is no longer in power. He doesn't have any power. He's not a governor. Doesn't hold any political position. And if he did, they wouldn't have treated him the way they treated him. That humiliation alone is like an indelible mark on Rufai. So going forward, there's no reason people who are shouting that they want to save Nigeria will not work with a man who has been saying the same thing for the past 3 or 4 years. Politics is supposed to be based on ideology. If you are saying you want to save the country and another man is saying he wants to do the same thing, you people have one objective. It's just to unite and achieve that objective. It's very simple. But in Nigeria, they always make things complicated. Thanks for watching.